Hi folks, it's Nick here. Just relaxing on the sofa, watching a bit of television, watching a bit of EastEnders. Now I won't turn the camera around to show you EastEnders because the BBC have probably claimed this as their own property, because they seem to be quite protective of their own content to a degree that's a little bit, I should say, ridiculous, and that's a little bit about what this video is about essentially. Now, as I try and grow the channel, occasionally I might do an experimental video to try and bring in a few extra viewers, see how that goes. Something I might try once or twice, I might not, then not try it again. But it's all about experimenting new things, trying to make things go viral and bringing more views and that sort of thing. Now, EastEnders, if you're unaware, if you're outside the UK, is a British soap programme on 3 times a week, or might even be 4 times a week. It's set in the East End of London, and it's always very, very miserable, and no one on it is very happy. But it's a bit like watching it because you think everyone's life is worse than yours. And I thought I'd have a go. It's a popular show though, on BBC One. So I thought I'd have a go of taking some scenes of EastEnders, editing them together in a sort of like a comedic way, and seeing how many views that got. Now, this is supposed to be allowed under the rules of fair use, which is always a bit of a grey area, as long as the content you create is significantly different from the original material. So it's not really competing with the original material. And I put up this footage, some of you might have seen it, it wasn't up very long, for about 3.5 minutes, and the picture was slightly zoomed in. The main central character in the video was Phil Mitchell, who was a bit of a tough guy. I gave him a really high voice, like he was on helium. The scenes were all edited differently. I cut and pasted things together, and I thought it was significantly different, so it was allowed under the rules of fair use. Now, I put the video up. You never know how these are going to go, and quite quickly the BBC put a copyright claim on it. Didn't affect the channel at all at that stage. It was a bit of a worry getting an email like that, because I thought I'd done everything I needed to. I took great care about it, and I thought, oh dear, because you think the worst when you see these emails. So I read it, and it said you're allowed to keep the video up. You don't need to delete it. Okay, that's good. But the BBC is monitoring it. Okay, I don't know what that means. Anything's going to happen, and when you log into YouTube, it shows your copyright page, anything against you there, and I had this one video sitting there. And there was an option to appeal the decision if you wanted to. Now, I thought I was in the right, but I'm not going to go up against the BBC, so I didn't really know what to do about it. So I thought, right, let's wait a bit, let's wait a few days, because although it's not making any money, it might get a few thousand views and bring in a few extra people and create awareness to the channel. So I thought I'd see what happened. That didn't happen, didn't really get the views. It got to about 100 or so, which is pretty much standard on the channel for a video of that type. So I'd explored it. I thought, okay, we'll evolve EastEnders. People like EastEnders or search for EastEnders. They'll see that video, see my content, and that might help the channel. But that didn't quite happen. So it stayed about 100 or 100 or so. And then a few days later, I got another email from the BBC, or through the YouTube, and it's pretty identical to the first one, and it's at that point I started getting a bit spooked. I thought, right, what's going on here then? I could leave it up. So essentially I had this video which I thought was quite funny, a few people enjoyed it, but I had this video up that wasn't making any money, it wasn't really getting thousands of views, and it was a risk to the channel. If BBC then changed their claim, I could get a copyright strike there. Bear in mind I've got about 1,700 videos up, and I've then got this one video of 3.5 minutes, which isn't really in keeping with the channel. It isn't retro gaming or gaming, which I aim to be. It was just a fun thing. Had that sitting there, and I deemed, once I got the second email, I deemed that to be a bit of a bad risk. Did I want to appeal it? No, it's not worth it. Although I thought I was in the right there. So what I did is the only sensible thing I could do, which was a shame, is delete it. I had planned to do a few other videos of this ilk, maybe do voiceovers and stuff, cut stuff together, and I also had this idea where, I don't know if you know the kids show Willow the Wisp, if you're similar age to me, where all the voices were done by Kenneth Williams. I was going to cut several scenes of that together to create a new scene, and do a bit of a twist on it, because I can do all the voices quite well, I think, of those Willow the Wisp characters. If you're unaware of that show, let me jog your memory. You might remember it. It had Evil Edna, which was a walking television set. Arthur was a caterpillar. Mavis was a fairy, and there's a few other characters that went in and out. Now, I don't want to, those who are for fun, I don't want to create a situation where most of my time is caused by chasing fake copyright strikes or under fair use going against it. Because as I say, it is a grey area. I could dispute one and it goes against me. So a clip I've used, say about 20 seconds, they say, no, you weren't allowed to use more than 15 seconds, although you edited it. And I thought, like, this isn't worthwhile. I really want to get into this for retro gaming, have a bit of fun, and this distracts from it. So it's a shame, really. The interpretation of fair use is not really correct through the YouTube system. I mean, if I had no videos up at all, I may have disputed that, but the risk is too great, and so I won't be doing those. Well, think about other things. I mean, another thing I had planned to do as well was, like I've got the Spectrum talk on the channel, I was thinking of maybe doing something like that, looking at old TV programmes from my past, if you like Ulysses 31, Battle of the Planets, Trapdoor, there's loads of things like that, Rent-A-Ghost even, lots of classic shows. I was going to use short clips in that, but that seems like a bit of a risk. I could use pictures, but I couldn't use any of the theme music, anything like that, so I'm not quite sure if that would work, which made me to rethink things. But in summary, it's good to try these things, see what happens. I mean, I could have recut that EastEnders video and had another go on it, but that could go on and on and on and on and on. And in the end of the day, it's not really worth the hassle unless you know you're going to get about 1 million or so views or something like that, which is not the case. So let me know what you think about that. I'm watching EastEnders, see what other miserable stuff happens.
Get out my face, you slag.
Oh, do one, you nonce.
Shut it.
Yeah, it's an interesting show. Yes. So let me know what you think about that. And until next time, take great care of yourself and have very fun. Goodbye.
Goodbye.